All righty. The average cost of divorce. Why is it so hard on men? Tech 52. Why are all the best poets men? I'm a Poe fan. I'm an Oscar Wilde fan. Based back in the house, trucking. How you doing, brother? Hey, how you doing, Big Vegas? I was just in Vegas. Last weekend, I went to a hotel, saw my sister, saw some friends. It was good timing. Good to have everyone here. Men feel more than women do. You hit the nail on the head. We're chasing success. I'm trying to get a video. Some of my my short videos, I just haven't had a topic that I need to really talk about, but I will. D-Man 50 in the house. Good to have you. Chase excellence, masculinity, men first. Salute out to the truckers moving our supplies. Get your Christmas presents ready. Let's jump into it. Why is divorce so hard on men? Because men don't like to lose. Men put an investment and they want that investment to yield return on investment. Men also can't compartmentalize their feelings. In other words, when we love hard. When we try to do our best, we try to do our best hard. That is how we are wired. So when somebody rejects us, someone that's not happy, it stings us. Even though the marriage might be as rotten as a peach on the ground, it's still difficult to maintain. Our brain goes into fix-it mode, regardless of the circumstances. Rick is in the house. Good to have you. We spend our time not wanting to give up. And that's how men are wired. We don't want to, majority of men, let's say 98%, don't want to give up. They don't want to fall down. They're strong. That's how we're wired. Now, why can a woman, after 20 years of marriage, give it all up? Because they're wired differently. It's as simple as that. It's harder on men in the initial phase. I would say in the first 2 years, it's the hardest on a man. We're dealing with the rejection of our family. We're dealing with issues of financial issues, divorce costs. We could be living in a backseat of a car. The rejection stings. Not being able to see your kids after you saw them grow up for so long stings. Men take it really, really hard. Women compartmentalize. They can go to work a 40-hour week, go with their girlfriends to Vegas, and be dealing with a divorce all at the same time and working out. They don't get blindsided like men do. We stop in our tracks. When it happens, we can't think, we can't eat, or we eat too much. We just can't move. And that is why our brains are, that's why it's so hard on men. I say after the 2 to 3 years, we're past it. We've been able to bounce back for the majority. We see the light. It might not be easy at the time, but we see that there's a potential future. Women now start to think, most of them say that after 2 to 3 years, they start to regret, or a lot of them will go back or what have you, because they've done a full circle with their thinking. Which, should I use the word thinking? Of their awareness of the situation. Our love is hard because we back it up with hard work and focus. Amen to that. Based. CM Punk, shout out to you from Detroit. Was listening to some Eminem the other day, driving home. Shout out to Detroit, CM Punk. Rad, how are you? The friend of mine that's marrying the 300-pound woman wants to invite me to his wedding. I told him first comes the wedding ring, then comes the suffering. I think you should go. See how much they eat. Brian Harris, divorce is especially difficult for men because in most cases the woman has already monkey branched and moved while the man is left out in the cold with thousands of pieces of his heart shattered. Correct, correct, correct. Couldn't have said it better. That's why we're all here sharing advice. The first 2 years for a woman after divorce is the time they think they made the best. Yes. Then boom, the rest of her life, they regret it. They regret it in silence, and regret turns into bitterness because their decisions came back to haunt. Remember, blame and deflect is a typical strategy. Not for us, but for them. Blame and deflect, blame and deflect. God, wouldn't it be really interesting to, wow, I won't go that route. Men need to evolve from the old mindset. Women already have evolved in openly practice hypergamy. Rick Lou. Speaking truth, absolutely. It's all out in the open. Rad, my family's culture is South Asian, and it's mainly arranged marriages, but nowadays even South Asian women are divorcing. I can't even tell you how many divorces happened to friends and family. CM Punk. It's everywhere. Divorce is now considered, to me, it's the worst word ever. I just don't like the way it sounds. I don't like the impact it has, especially if you have kids, if you put everything in it, but it's everywhere. The people say, go to Thailand, find a bride in Thailand. Guess what? Supposedly the women in Thailand like foreigners. They probably like lighter skinned guys with blue eyes, what have you, just because they're used to a different complexion. And the guys there are trying to date their own Thai women are dealing with the exact same treatment as men in America might be dealing with the 98%ers. So you're absolutely right, CM Punk. My ex-wife asked for a divorce twice, and I said no, because I wanted to work with her. Well, I did too. I even requested for counseling and still no. The third time I said, hell yeah, I want out. I went to counseling several times, but it was always my fault. I think she did it just so she could dot the I's and dot the I's and cross the T's, that she did everything possible. To each their own. Resabite in the house. Did you see the commercial for The Good Doctor? There's a line where the main guy character says, all that matters is that I marry Leah. Well, that's a man that does not put himself first. And there's lots of those guys. From New Jersey, Morristown. I made a name on the account when I was going through my gambling phase, but I bet Vegas was nice. Women and men are definitely wired differently. Yes. New Jersey, home of Bon Jovi. Brad, I'm going to the wedding, and there are going to be really big women there. Going to be a busted Pillsbury biscuit can extravaganza. Sneak in a camera. Sneak it in. Matt Downer in the house. What up, brother? Good to see you. Just started to feel normal after a year and some change after a 12-year long-term relationship. Healing phase was rough, but I'm getting there. Yeah, if I can do it, you can do it. If John Boston can do it, you can do it. If Matt Downer can do it, you can do it. Everybody can do it. It's just a matter of acceptance. And we don't hate on ladies. We just understand them. That's it. I don't want to even call it understanding. We are aware of the 98%. We are aware of how our brains are different. So if we're aware of it, why would we go through the lengths and the time and the frustration of trying to understand it? Let's just be aware of it. Hey, at any moment, I'm going to have 15 hurricanes in my life if I marry her. In any moment. In any moment, I could be replaced. Or I could replace her. Typically, it's on the former. But, at any time, I could have the fuzz show up. So be very cautious of who you tie your wagons to. Carl Johnson in the house. Good to see you. Where are you from, Carl? Rad, the ETF called Pause had a commercial I saw it today on CNBC, and they showed me a woman feeding cat food to her cat. Cat food for her cat for 300 Trebek. They needed boxed wine in the background and a bag of Twizzlers. Invest. People say invest in crypto. No, invest in pet food, pet toys, and box wine. I'm always ahead of the game and avoiding all relationships with females. Whatever brings you peace and happiness is where we need to be. It's not about, it's not 1991 anymore. It's 2021. Life is different. It's out. There's no comparison. I can't imagine what the young guys are going through dealing with a 21-year-old boy dealing with a 21-year-old girl. I just can't imagine it. What a shit show. Ludwig, I'm going to say you're somewhere in Eastern Europe. I will never go to a wedding again. Weddings for 300 avoidance. I'm not a big fan of weddings myself. Young Peasy, once you get that contact, you're screwed as a man. Just be very careful. Know the risks, know the rewards, and be aware. Got to get out of the program. One Fast Dak in the house. Good to see you. Check out One Fast Dak's channel. He's growing. He's putting out good content on a daily, if not a couple times a day. Great stuff up there in Canada. Salute the Queen for me. And do not salute the Trudeau simp. Good to have you, brother. Rad, my big bro, out here in Scottsdale, enjoying my half day. Woo, booked a trip to Dubai next month. Only 300,000 air miles and $108. Ooh, 108 in taxes. Staying at the Palms Jamar. Ooh, I'd love to see pictures. I have a desire. I'd like to go out. I wouldn't mind going to Dubai or Saudi Arabia or something. I think it'd be an interesting experience. And their food is probably great. What's taking you out there, brother? I'm closer to the Jersey Shore, Monmouth County. Okay, not familiar with that. You're absolutely right that we don't hate them. We just understand them. So no need to stress about female nature. Life is easier now. I'm glad you have got to that point. If you hate on anyone, you give them power. If you're upset at anyone, you give them power. Well said. Divorce is hard on men because we haven't destroyed the divorce courts. Yes. The courts are not favorable to the majority of men, and it costs a lot of money to get divorced, my friends. Not only the fees, the lawyers, but half of everything, if not more. You might pay more than half. Carl Johnson dumped my girlfriend some years ago. She cheated, was left for dead. I'm also her neighbor, and I ignore her completely. She now is creating drama with me using direct messages, called her out on her BS. Well, Carl, that is not a story that is surprising to hear. Happens a lot. And you ignore her? I would ignore her, act like she is no longer a parent on this floating planet. How about that? Oh, good to have you. Marriage is no longer about love, it's about leverage. What can you get from the other person? Ooh, spitting some truth bombs, Mr. Bryan. I would agree with that statement. It's the programming now, the programming in the media. And eat, pray, love. You go, girl. Eat, pray, love for 300. Live, love, laugh. Right? Some slang, but that's it. Yeah. If they're unhappy, they get. Everybody goes through unhappy phases, even men, until we have to put ourselves in drive and realize we got to do something different. Get a hobby, work out, become better, become non-complacent. Yeah. Mole Coco, greetings from Ireland. I think you might be the first Irish guy I've ever had in a chat, but great to have you. Salute with Jameson or Bushnell for me. Salute to you. Tell us about Ireland. What are the women like? The only thing I know besides Bushnell's, Pete, Jameson, Guinness, and U2. And wait, the 80s Sign, whatever his name was. That's all I know. I think I have Irish blood in me, but good to have you. Weddings depress me. I went to a wedding and I just went for the food, and the food sucked. I'm like, I'm done with this crap. Not even worth it. It was Del Taco is better. Wine, cats, Twizzlers, and mailbox filled with mail order catalogs for useless knickknacks and more clothing. Oh, yes. Yeah, I had more catalogs coming in the mail when I was married than anything. I mean, it was the weirdest stuff. Just, they're on so many lists. Well said. Should I talk to her in person and be cordial just to say to her that it's over between me and her and then have peace of mind? She is saying massive BS about me to some relative. What a mess, brother. I wouldn't even ignore her. Silence is your friend. If you talk to her, she gets dopamine. Drama is negative or positive attention is the same thing. I wouldn't talk to her. Move on. Chilson tends in the house. Women follow masculinity. Be in control of your emotions. Work out. Eat healthy. Have a purpose. Problem has been men for the past decades. Women are children who need guidance. I agree with that statement. Strength is the enemy. Now, they're also hard on men because it literally robs us of our biological imperative identity, provider, protector. It's a true evil that we need to destroy. How many providers and protectors have you seen that are media moguls, the people that have become famous are getting monkey branched? You know, there is truth to say, she's not yours, it's just your turn. There's truth to that. People say, hey, Rad, I got broken up. She left me. Hey, you're no different. That story's a dime a dozen. It just happens. Even Christian women that monkey branch just because they read the Bible and then they read 50 Shades of Grey after that. Women have an empty and insecure nature and constantly have to be emotionally and mentally stimulated. You cannot satisfy them, Rick Lou. Well, who said it best? Did Greg Adams say it best? That a woman wants an engineer and a thug in the same body? Right? The engineer's the beta, the thug's the alpha. You can't get both. Well said, Rick. Rad, by looking at the bride and her friends, I would say the thinnest woman she knows is 200 pounds. That's average today. That's average. Oh yeah, we gotta have John live stream it. John Boston. Maybe they'll have Italian food. John's Italian. I love Irish women and Lithuanian women, and of course Italian women. I used to work with this Italian boss. Oh, she was a hoot. She would do anything for a contract, and she had really first time I met her, she goes, "Yeah, I'll do anything for a contract." She didn't care. She was married to a total simp. He worked at Penn State, and total simp. He'd send her flowers when she was in Vegas or Orlando for the big shows, and because he knows that she would always, lay down with a man to get the contract. We're talking CIO, big contracts, $300,000-400,000. This was a company that did about $12 million a year, and half of it was profit for her. I mean, she made a ton of dough. But I remember when I first met her, she'd be like, and I'm direct and transparent. I could care less. I love all sorts of people. She comes up and she's wearing this blouse, this Italian blouse. Her name is, what was her? Cornicelli, I think was her last name, and her maiden name. And she's got these huge cans. I'm talking, they're not even double Ds. They're probably Gs. And she goes, "Oh, these guys love this, and this is what I promote my company with." Italian woman. Shout out, John Boston. Salute from Inglewood. Autry the Fat Lad. Well, a very interesting name. Glad you're here. Did I pronounce it right? Inglewood? Or is it Inglewood? But I've been there. Been around it. We had some old school. That's some, you got history down there. Good to have you. Most women don't miss the person, they miss the feeling. Cesar. Cesar spent some time down in that area. I think malicious women can attempt to destroy the lives of men they envy. Very disturbing and hard to grasp. Women envy the abilities of free men. Can't argue with that. I would love to be on the management team for picking companies that end up in the pause ETF. Sadly, I would have to buy stocks like Bumble, but I would short those. Oh man, what kind of world do we live in? Sad to say, even after all the dysfunction, my ex-wife passed away Saturday from liver failure. Oh wow, Slam. Not what I want, but years of alcohol abuse. I'm not surprised my son doesn't even know. Ooh, how old was she? That's really sad to hear that. Even after everything, she's still the mother of your kid, you know? You can be alpha enough to get all the women, but never alpha enough to keep any of them. Lard Spawn, laying it down to Chinatown. Women are never happy no matter what we give them. The more you give, the less you get, right, Matt? I should move from this place. The more I ignore that bee, the more she wants to create drama. Well, that's typical. I think I'm going to play the massive simp and chaser emoji, then she'll leave me alone. That strategy might work. Just love bomb her. She'll probably never talk to you. Good strategy. Seriously. The CBF, nothing lasts forever, so what makes love the exception? I believe love is a concoction of chemicals. I get the same feeling if I have a great burger. Lone Wolf MGTOW, Italian ladies. They definitely know how to leverage their assets, if you understand what I mean. So let's stop giving them anything. They are strong and independent, aren't they? Need men like fish need bicycles. Oh, wait, that's still my soggy knees. Just understand that you are the prize. You're the captain of your plane, and you allow anyone in your life that you deem appropriate. And you fly that plane wherever the hell you want. Cora Blimey killing about 3 birds with 1 stone, linking up with a bunch of lads from England, a little business, reviewing investment property opportunities, and attending a destination wedding. We'll return and report. Love to hear how that goes. Cheaper groceries in the house. Good to have you. Women like when I speak Italian to them. They turn into little giggling girls. I knew a family in South America. They're Italian. La Famiglia Riccitelli. But I could never. I mean, I can understand a little, but it's a different, different, language. I mean, it's still a Germanic language. I guess I could probably learn how to do it, but I'm sure they do, John. Use it at the wedding. Wow, 38 years old. So did she drink a lot? I mean, was she drinking every day? So sad. Stop focusing so much on women. You will feel better when you let go. Correct. Be aware of the role that women will play in your life, whether it's in work, whether it's your sister, your mother, your friend, your neighbor, your DoorDash driver, right? Your UPS driver. I have seen UPS drivers that are women. I'm cordial. Allow in your life who you decide you want to let in. That goes for guys and girls. If the guy's toxic, beat him. Get rid of the dude. If you got toxic friends that are losers, get rid of them. You are who you hang out with. Freedom from wanting a woman is happiness. Peace and no need for a woman's validation or security. Well said. Text a woman every morning and say, good morning, honey. Then during the day, text her and say you're thinking of her. And at night, call her and talk to her. She'll dump you in 2 days. She's got no time. And that's what most guys are doing. They don't give the woman time to miss them. Create mystery. One fast stack, I tell women I don't know English, problem solved. But you know the Queen's English. One fast stack. We're going to have to do a live stream coming up. Guy at work paid $15,000 for his daughter's wedding he didn't go to. He saw pictures and was upset. She walked down the aisle with a black dress, drinking wine, escorted by his ex-wife. Ooh, don't quit, persevere. Dang. That's got to hurt. That's got to hurt. You did. I haven't listened to them yet, but I will definitely hear them tonight. I like the 3 you sent me before. It's got a funky beat, and I can bug out to it. Who said that? Anybody know that line? I'll say it's a rap song by a rap band. It's sampled. It's got a funky beat, and I can bug out to it. Torres, a couple weeks ago, is when I decided I'm done approaching women. It's the biggest BS ever marketed. I'm not a big fan of the PUA. Just sets you up for failure. I think the best ways to find people is, in today's world, is hobbies and clubs. If you like to ride bicycles or you're in a running club, just mutual things to do. And even then, it's probably a shit show. But, A for effort. CJ Wilkins is in the house. Big entrance. Hard to beat totally trip for 10 days. Round trip biz class, sweet activities for $2,200 and some change. The world really can be your oyster when you don't need the drama that comes with it. I'd love to go on a plane. I'd love to go on a plane to Dubai. I guess they're like little private cabins. Good for you. I'm back in the game 100%. I'm attaboy. I ignored her help earlier today and it worked. Matt Downer. Marriage says nothing about being happy. I know this dumb male who has a PhD and almost 70 talking about how he wants to marry. Yep, PhDs are very good with process and theory, but not street smarts. Most of them. JLO will do it right. It'll be my first trip to the Middle East and first international trip since January 2020. Bon voyage, brother. Let us know how it goes. Cesar is going to say it's the Beastie Boys. All right, it was. What song and what album? Taking modern women seriously has to be one of the lower IQ actions as a man could commit today. The amount of time, money, and brain cells you save by focusing on yourself is paramount, gentlemen. Our brains are too different. 98% of all women we can't understand. And they can't understand us, to be fair. Doesn't work. We are not interested in reality TV shows or makeup or knickknacks or, catalogs. We're interested in building things, creating things, improvement, and just being chill, watching some football. Well said, CJ. Great idea. I'll speak Italian to everyone all night at the wedding. My poor friend, I'm thinking if she wants him on top, his ears will probably pop. I don't think that. I'm wondering what she's going to look like in a wedding dress. Are you kidding me? Muhammad himself. A girl sent me a text, and then she told me she was 18. I was like, wow. She said she likes older men. Am I in dangerous territory now? Well, she's 18. She's legal. She's 18. She's legal. I'm assuming you're in the States. Ask yourself, when was the last time a woman asked you what your name is or actually was interested in you? If she really likes you, she would come up to you. Women don't care about men. I believe the majority of women care only about themselves and them. How come if they cared about, I think they care about their kids, but if they really cared about them, they would really think twice of having a broken family. How come if a tall, dark, handsome man comes onto a woman, she's cool, but if a short, average looking guy, then it's sex harassment and you in HR office explaining yourself. Well, and you're a creep, right? If you're little. Double standards, my friend. Double standards. Yes, from the Beastie Boys. B-Boy, Bala, yeah, that's it. B-Boy. Saw my mate go through the ringer. Wife divorced him after 5 years, cheated on him with a family friend. Seeing a grown man cry is heartbreaking. To add insult to his injury, his in-laws turned on him. It's difficult for a man going through divorce. It is extremely hard. That is why a lot of men decide to remove themselves physically. And if they have the knowledge and the awareness, they won't probably, they can get through it. by listening to people in these forums and watching videos. Learning that they're not alone. They're not alone, right, Jay? I'm always thinking about what I can learn from life. I think all the failed marriage and relationships are encouraging men to learn self-reliance. I think so. You're absolutely right. The CBF, they care about what other women think of them. Very hive-minded. It's a very hive-minded way of living. My ex hung out with a lot of divorced women and eventually got divorced. A lot of women that are married, if a single woman hangs out with a lot of married women, wants to get married herself. It just goes both ways, right? They care what other women think. If I see a man in a relationship, I know he's a simp because they're all the same. There's no way she respects him. The times have changed from 1950 and before. How do you win? You win by working on yourself. That's how you win. Chris Rock said if a girl says she's 20, she looks 16, then she's 12. If a girl says she's 26 and she looks like she's 26, then she's definitely 40. Oh my gosh, that made me laugh. Mohammed himself, where are you from? Below average looking men can't approach women. You will get sexual assault charge. Correct. A guy buys his girl a bouquet of flowers. She gets on her phone and starts to complain about it not being in a vase and not going the extra mile, basically recording her selfishness. Do you know how many times the presents I got were not good enough? I think that is a common theme. Jerome, I know how to cook pretty good, but what percentage of women do you think know how to change a shear pin on a snow blower? How many women know what a shear pin is? Very, very few. Probably a woman that, like Elisa Smith, that grew up in a strong family with strong values where the dad taught him how to work, might have a clue. Most of all, men in America, for example, are all chasing the same phenotype of woman. So massive demand and saturation. There are no morals in this free-for-all. This is the most unfair to us white American guys. That is why you have to work on yourself. You, my friend, are not alone. My son is in the same boat. And I said, stack bills and learn skills. It might take 10, 15 years. Also, if anyone is after tips on how to leverage CC reward points to travel for free, give me a shout. Credit card reward points. In addition to utilizing velocity banking to eliminate debt. Oh, that's great. Shout it out, Jay. I just saw that clip. She was complaining it wasn't in water. Well, I just think that's par for the course. I think that's our programming. I think that there's a lot of Princess Destiny syndrome, and it's really hard to make a woman happy today. They have too many options. There's a lot of attention they get online. It's a difficult world to compete in. It really is. You have to ask yourself, what does she bring to the table? What does she bring to the table? Besides her physical, what does she bring to the table? Does she respect you? Is she a co-pilot? Does she give you attention? Scratch your back? Make you food? That's what you have to ask. And if they don't do any of that, good luck. And I mean that sincerely. Beauty can beguile the man. Beauty can beguile the man. Be very careful. I got my wife a gift off her wish list and she still didn't like it. Don't quit, persevere. Unhappy gift receiver for 300 Trebek. My friend, I have been in that boat. In fact, I bet every man has been in this boat. It was not, well, I don't think she probably didn't like it. It was probably not good enough. There's always something. There's always going to be a better and more expensive handbag or pair of shoes or jewelry. Rad, have you seen Danica Marie dope discussion? She talks about women's behavior and how they treat men. She's speaking mostly of the sisters on the MLK Boulevard, according to CJ. No, but I'll check it out. I'm always interested in women that have intelligent conversations. You know, Esther Villar wrote that book in 1971, The Manipulated Man, 50 years ago. And she received threats on her physical persona. She was blacklisted, all because she was exposing truth, that men were experiencing these issues. And it's only gone downhill from there. The quickest way to ruin a society is to pull the man out of it and break the family up. And what are we seeing? Well said, John. Nick, I was mildly interested in this girl and went out with her, somehow found out she has a friend with benefits. I have zero interest. It's probably the case for most of these days. Why bother? I heard that every woman has usually 2 on speed dial, 2 guys that they are sleeping with, and another 15 they are entertaining. So Nick, I think you might be right there. D-Man 50, they are truly never single. There's always a plan. How many WGTOW you know? You know, it's funny, D-Man. A gal reached out and said she was WGTOW. And I just thought, that's weird. But hey, I don't know why. What are your 3 best dating advice for young men who want to get laid? Mustang Ranch. She also accused him of not having plant food. There actually was plant food on Grateful Heathens. Those heathens. Marriages are huge money pits. Vintage soul, like the icon. You are better off investing your time in seeking the Lord. Well, I don't think that's anything wrong with seeking spirituality. Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Think about that. The kingdom of heaven is within. In here. Your internal validation is where the kingdom is. Well said. Good evening, my friend, to you, Mateos. Brasileño or Portugués? Obrigado for being here. There's no such thing as a single woman in today's matriarchy. Even if she's not officially with one man, there's some local cucumber she's given. You guys come up with the funniest stuff. It's easy. A woman today, a woman could be 200 pounds. Look at John Boston's friend. Just the most attractive 300-pounder I've ever seen. She's getting married to a doctor, and he worships her. Men are also the problem. Men are also the problem. We have literally become so weak in what we seek now. We're so thirsty. We don't even have morals or values, or the majority of men don't. They will, whatever is warm and moist, they go after. Right? We got to hold ourselves accountable for all of it. At one time, I was a simp. Albert Einstein was married 3 times, the smartest man in the world, married 3 times. There you go. But he could not see through the intelligence of what relationships were like. He reminds me of an Elon Musk. I'm 21 and I can tell you relationships are over. Falling in love with the girl next door are over. There isn't a 1991 girls like Jennifer Connelly. Ooh, she is a pretty girl. I would agree 100%. The relationships have just morphed into completely something different. It's a transaction now. You guys should follow and read Alan Roger Curry for understanding how to really approach women. Check them out. No female can go their own way. They can't even survive 3 hours on an island. You might be right. Brasileiro. Good for you. What part? Sao Paulo? Rio? I did a program book. If men wanted to date women, it's called a 7-step program for men to obtain success in dating by. Oh, there you go, guys. Check out his book. I'll check it out. A 7-step on Amazon. Send me the link. The kingdom of God is within you, absolute, and his word is written on your heart. Correct. Divorce is the death of many dreams, love, legacy, and family, and a shared history of somebody who turns out not to be who you thought she was. Yes. Yes, well said, Supreme Canon. Good to have you back. Taurus, there's no science on approaching. At the end of the day, it's her decision to keep talking to you. It's either she's interested or not. It's a lottery. I would agree with that statement as well, especially in today's modern landscape. Back in my days, you could approach. It was a lot easier. The hardest part about divorce is coming to the realization that you misappropriated time, energy, and resources into a lady who was never yours to begin with. This is why the red pill is so important. Can't have said it better myself. That's why we say these guys. It's not the fact that we don't want you to have relationships. It's you have to understand the nature of today's relationship is not what you think it is. And if you do, you're in for a rude awakening. Only behind my back when we were together, tons before and after we split. And I'm sorry about your ex and the mother of your kid. Rad question. Why do women believe so much in horoscopes? It's an escape. Women believe lots of things. They believe what their friends tell them. They believe what TV and the media has written about love. And that's just part of it. They're wired differently. Men can see through more of the garbage that's out there. Thai women date you only for money. I have heard that. And status, right? Being a foreigner of some sort. Fox Saint, what up from Canada? Good to see you're still dishing out red pills. Good to have you in there. Salute the Queen for me. We do not salute Mr. Kevin Trudeau. That's not Kevin Trudeau. Kevin Trudeau is that 80s infomercial guy. We do not salute the Trudeau. Thanks for your sure advice. I'm trying to keep my head up for my kids. I'm going through a divorce. Astro Cusa Reyes. Send me an email if you want. rebelagainstdefeat@gmail.com. I've been through it. I know what it's like. And just stay strong and watch videos like this, Coach Greg Adams, and you're going to make it. What's your opinion on men around you? Do you think they're waking up and noticing the issues? Some. Some of them are. Majority no. Lots of red pill guys return to the plantation as well. If the court system didn't make it rewarding for a woman to blow up a family, we wouldn't have this "you go girl, get divorced" attitude. Correcto mundo. If they made it really difficult, I think people would think differently. Lisa Smith, back in the house. Good to have you. I know 3 men who married Thai women. All 3 left them. One came back because the man was worth millions, but they are not married now. Oh, how many times have I heard that? She had the gastric sleeve and popped pills, drinking even though the doctor said don't drink. She never owned her behavior. Why I divorced her. Ugh. Still difficult, my brother. Do you think females who settle for a male for necessity and companion is actually happy? No. No. R is in the house. Justin, the woman. Salute the Queen. Oh, he's a simp. Women have other forms of defense mechanism that we cannot stand. They're just wired differently than men. It's as simple as that. You have to understand that. Chris, oh my gosh, why can't I think about this? Chris Rock talks a lot about that. The more young men see this information, the more different the future will be. The young women of today aren't going to get away with what their older sisters did. I would agree with that statement. Yes, hang into. We always have someone in the chat that's going through some strong, some difficult times. We will stand behind that man. Salute out to him. Mega memory guy. That's it. Kevin Trudeau. Remember Don Lapre? Who remembers Don Lapre? He had that infomercial about tiny little ads placed will make you millions. The end is near. Majority no. Correcto mundo. Good to have you. Divorce won't kill you. It makes us stronger. Most of us have been there. Yes. Unfortunately, it's sad that a lot of guys can't see away from it. And I can understand why they can't get out of that thinking. Their life is literally imploding. In Thai culture, the husband usually cheats the wife, but if the wife does, she'll get beat up. Ooh, that's interesting. I had no idea. Wow. Can repressed emotions cause real physical pain, Captain Will? I would agree so. I think disease is a mind not at ease, and it will manifest in certain conditions. I think it's cool how you use your platform to elevate and uplift other brothers who create some of the same content. That is why you have one of my favorite channels. I appreciate it, CJ. Everybody here helps and shares with each other. You know, I don't care about your race, your color, where you live, what language you speak, how tall you are, how fat you are, how poor you are, how rich you are. Men need to be strong with other dudes. We don't want to see any more self-deletions. And there's been a lot of guys that have passed through these channels and these chats with no way out but this. I've talked to tons of them. Online, on the phone, on email, and I'll do whatever it takes just to be a listening ear. But thanks for that comment, CJ. Justin, let's go. Justin, let's go. Check out One Fast Dax channel, puts out good stuff. Young men are waking up to female behavior, divorce, and starter marriages. The over 40 men and men who have never married are clueless and victimized. And the Asian love you long time. Be very careful. Be very careful, folks. Know your enemy. That's a song by. I'll ask, who in the crowd knows Know Your Enemy? It's a punk band. It's a trio. Well, pop punk. Keep your head up, Mr. Astro. You'll be stronger and better because of this process. Yes, he will. Light travels faster than sound. This is why some people appear bright until you hear them speak. Yes. Correct, O Mundo. Women prefer slaving in workplaces instead of contributing to family units or to our decent men. I know a lot of women in their later years that are divorced or have no kids that put their career ahead of everything. And where they get in the end of life is not a happy place. They're basically forgotten. You know, greatest thing a woman can do is be a mother or a wife. And yet to be a mother today, mine said, you know, the mother was, she'd been a mother too long. Like it was a bad thing. But that's programming. That's media programming saying, you go girl, eat, pray, love. But you're right, Ludwig. Who's ever gone to the massage parlor and got a happy ending? Any tips? I've never done that. I'm sure there's lots of guys that have. Timmy Kramer, the forever bachelor. Men must always help other men. It's awesome fathers are warning their sons on the dangers of marriage. I try to use it differently, Timmy, with my boys. I just say the risks and the rewards of marriage. You know, I don't want to make it, but there are, let's just say there are booby traps along the way and quicksand. And most guys do not even notice it until they're far in too deep. Don Lapre, tiny little ad guy. I trusted him and bought his shite, and it was shite. I sat in my brother's basement and sent tiny little ads, buying and selling various ads. This tiny little ad placed in the newspaper. He died. Did you know that? He was in, I think he was in prison or something, or he was going to prison and he took his life. Green Day, you're absolutely right. 21st century. Viva something. The Dark Side of the Moon had pounds of red-pilled content if you listen to the lyrics closely. I do. Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb. Tiny classified ads make millions. Remember how he'd say it like that? And he'd have the reminder service. And you can do the reminder service. You can get people to remind them birthdays and anniversaries and special events. Join my reminder service. Oh man, those are the days when there was no internet. I used to actually like to watch. I used to love watching infomercials. Carlton Sheets, Tony Robbins. I just at night it was like you just Hair Club for Men had an infomercial. They're so different, you know. There's always some guy trying to sell you some way to make $1 million. AJ Lifts, Rebel, would you ever get back with an ex that dumped you? No, no, no. I mean, at one point back in my simp days when I was programmed, I probably would have thought about it, but no, not anymore, AJ. He offed himself to avoid prison. Yep, that's right. Yes, I remember that. Awaken the giant within. Personal power. Tony Robbins. That's the deal, guys. I mean, look, it's harder on men. Breakups, divorce, the monkey branching, because we're wired differently. Our brains want to fix everything. We take it personally when we're rejected. You know, it's a strike to your ego. It's a strike to your pride. In fact, it cuts deep. But you have to remember, this is one thing I had to learn. The fantasy was not the reality. The fantasy was not the reality. I can't force anyone to love me or like me or stay with me or be with me. I can't fix something if that person doesn't want to have it fixed as well. And my audience changed. The audience that I got married to was a completely different audience after the first year, the first 5 years, the first child, the first 10 years, the first decade, the first trip alone. The audience changed. She at once laughed at my laughs, and she quit laughing. That is why it's hard. And we think that we can go back to all those great deposits that we made back in the beginning of the relationship, and we can basically rest on those deposits thinking, you know what, okay, it sucks right now, but I've made so many emotional deposits that we're going to make it. That, my friend, is what I used to think 7 years ago. I don't think that way anymore. There is no such thing as an emotional bank account. As men, we all need to stay together, rise above the fantasy of love, and wake up as many brothers as possible before they meet the ugly face of deletion caused by the spirit of Jezebel. Well said, Big Vegas. The reminder service, I got that shite too. Jerron Markel, I'd love to see your collection of infomercial stuff. We could show each other all of our different infomercial packages. I think I still have a couple of them. I met Tom Wu years ago, and he wanted people to cash, and if you didn't have $1 million, he told you to leave. We went into a private room, and he wanted our money to buy real estate and pay out at a fixed rate. Carlton Sheets, Tom Wu. Oh, would you really care after a breakup if you have multiple women chasing you? No. What do they say? The best way to get over someone is to get under another? I'm curious about how the 21 went. Did anyone attend? I'm curious as well. Tony Robbins reminds me of the human Thanos. Well, he has gigantic disease. He was supposed to be a giant. But yeah, he's got a thick voice, and he was married to a gal and divorced her as well. I remember listening to his Personal Powers in 1997, and he was talking about his wonderful relationship to his wife, and then he got divorced. Go figure. Incel Therapy, rubmaps.com. To the guy that asked about massages. Okay. Paying for over 15 years, I should have had a huge bank account for my ex. Nope, she filed for divorce. I never did a thing for her. Of course you did. John, you'll just drain your energy if you try to rationalize female behavior. We just are aware of it. I've now gone from understanding to being aware of it. It seems in the long run that men turn out better than women after marriage ended, maybe because we need men, but men don't need women. Gotcha. You're right, Lisa. And if a woman is not mouthy and a co-pilot to her partner, her man, she's going to age much better and be happier. Astro Cusa Reyes. You're going to be just fine. Where are you from, by the way? True, most women are fantasies. Just a moments in time like Razor, Ramon, Chicas are for fun. There you go. Just listen to Check Ya Head. There you go. Beastie Boys. Like Fred Flintstone driving around in ball feet. Like Sam the Butcher bringing Alice the meat. What Rat is saying is truth, getting a little emotion about it. Had to end a relationship with a woman I loved. I was there for when her mom had cancer. Correct. I was there when I buried my father-in-law and picked him up out of the shower. I know what it's like. We had just become aware of it. A month after my ex filed for divorce, I had two women wanting to go out. I did sleep with one, went into her bathroom next time I went over, and she was on Paxil and Wellbutrin, the divorce drugs for 300 Trebek. Total headman. Anyone on Wellbutrin, especially women, not good. They don't call it the divorce drug for nothing. Just got here. What's up to you, Jason? We are talking about what are we talking about? How breakups and divorce are tough on men because we put so much into it. She wanted to follow guys she doesn't know on Instagram, but the truth is the truth, and I accept it. It's all good. Her loss, not mine. Correct. Think about it like that. It's her loss, not yours. Speaking of deposit, just sold some of my Dogecoin for some Shiba Inu, 46.8 million SHIB. Mamie tokens are the best. Attaboy. Increase your wealth. Portland, Oregon. Well, I grew up in Beaverton, and I went to Beaverton High School. And let's see, my ex went to Sunset. Well, I had a couple ex-girlfriends that went to Sunset, actually. And one that went to Aloha. And one that went to Lincoln High School. Portland, Oregon. Ugh. They are not favorable to the man, and that's Connie Coast. So what you want? Matt Downer, absolutely. Most modern women would never admit they need a man. The river of denial is long and wide. It is a long and wide one. Correct. The difficulty of a broken heart is a reality. Okay? Men get their hearts broke. I think women do, but to a very different extent than men do. Men feel it harder, I think. Men really feel it. Robert A. in the house. Beastie Boys. Big fan of the Beastie Boys. Big influencer, even to gangster rap. Good to have you again, Robert. I have my mega memory package, but the other ones I don't do. You remember the scene here, piano? That sounds familiar, but I don't remember it very well. Everyone is doing well now that you're here, Robert. Cameron is in the house. I didn't know you were from Beaverton. How is it there? I was thinking about visiting. Beaverton when I grew up was great. Just down the street from Nike. I think we get our heart broken because we're so damn imaginative. Well, we just feel harder. You know, I mean, shit. Being in love with my ex-wife when I met her was great. At least that's what I thought I was in love. I thought about her all the time. I thought she could do no wrong. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. Maybe it was lust. Maybe it was just a bunch of emotions. But we do have that imagination as well, based. Very well said. J Song Z, how's it going? Listen to you while working. J Songs, where are you at? You look like a rapper, maybe a DJ. If you got some music, send it my way. I'd love to hear it. Men have to understand their own value, the price, women or not the price. I think you're right. You have to understand the value you bring to the table. Okay? It's been very easy to lie to women just to get a pump and dump. I have to be in mutt mode for 3 years to avoid the karma. Captain Will. I think a lot of guys have been in that situation. Yep. I've never loved a female. Men love harder than them. That's why when a female cheats, it's way worse. And if you take her back after that, you're a stupid fool. Correct. I'm a DJ and producer. Ooh. So is Jerron. Jerron's making music too. Jerron Markel, you should hook up with J Songs. You guys could probably make some cool intros. Would love to hear. Send me a sample at rebelagainstdefeat@gmail.com. All women I had, I knew from day one, it's not going to last. And now I think that is a definite awareness that people that get in the red pill understand that you just take a minute at a time. Women may be at a level 90 out of 100 in social degeneracy, but men are also around 50 to 100. Men must start applying real social morality with regard to the supply of women. Ooh, very well said. Instead of being just jumping on anything that moves, right? A female's love is opportunistic and men love idealistically. Correct. Very well said, Jerome. No more of this frat sorority orgy culture. Yeah, I mean, we're also to blame. People say, "Oh, Rad, you hate on." I don't hate on anyone. I hate on feminism, but that's just a concept. That's just a way of thinking and acting. But we, as Dave Chappelle said, we all came through a woman's legs to arrive on this earth. There's value in the female species. It's as simple as that. We don't hate. We're just aware of what programming is done, what the government has caused, and how we can become better versions of ourselves by understanding the dynamics, by being aware of how female nature is and how male nature is. Male nature is part of the problem of why there's so many 304s, because they've allowed it. Well said. Why in the heck do us men have to do all the work with women? We ask them out, create the date, pay the bills, and drive her around. Good question. Do you think our ancestors would pull up in the buggy with the horse and pick them up? Probably not, because most people couldn't afford a buggy and a horse, so they just walked around. But, I mean, at the same time, yeah, they were always, seemed like the man always, went after the woman. But back then, women knew their worth. They knew their role as well. I don't think there was a lot of 304s. I mean, they were in the saloons, right? But they were very, very small percentage of the women, at least in my grandfather's era. And to some extent, my parents' era. Us men are so imaginative that we take the poozy and we light it up like a Christmas tree and think it's a holiday forever, BS-based arch-lich. Laying it down to Chinatown. Generational programming, correct. Timmy, ask your mom, what does she think about the women in today's society? Can't imagine she looks on them with favor. Feminism is a mental disorder for 300 Trebek. Lisa Smith. Oh, you should hear what my mom thinks about womanism. She is not down with it. Important content tonight. I know a lot of men are trying to understand and navigate trying to deal with women. Well, do we understand them or do we just navigate life by being aware? I've got to the point where I don't want to understand anymore. I just want to be aware. So that if I'm aware, I don't have to put my energy, right, into something that doesn't provide a return on investment. Simple as that. Well said. T-Talks in the house. Divorce for man is only as hard as you make it. Often letting go of the burden of a difficult partner is the best long-run option. And he mentioned burden. Key word, burden for 300 Trebek. Good to have you, T-Talks. What would happen if a woman tried to leave during the caveman days? She would never leave the man. Unless he was, most of those guys, there might have been a little monkey branching. I can't be a fatalist about it, but I'm sure most of them, fought for the dude. But I don't think love was part of it. It was all about protection and provision up till 1940, 50. I think girls tend to be idealistic about the world, but more realistic with relationships, while the opposite is true with guys. Yeah, I think you're right. Fee Fi Fo Fum, I smell an English man. Sup to you, MGTOW Cowboy, another content creator. Check out his channel. I heard that Alec Baldwin's prop master on the set was a 24-year-old diversity girl who knew zero about guns, blanks, live ammo, etc. Yeah, what a turn of events this weekend with what happened there. Interesting. DKS in the house. Most men in relationship think they found the Nawalt. Well, everyone's found a Nawalt. I did. Right? We all have. That is programming. Simps create the inflated and false ego these females have. Yes, men are responsible for it, folks. We need to take accountability and let our brothers know simping ain't easy. We've got to pull them off the simp train. It's like females are trying to be men these days. They have their own natural value, but don't seem to appreciate it. They just throw it away for free. Well said, Nick. Mom is 80 and comes from the old school of thought. She did witness my brother get divorced big time. I don't think she looks on the modern day lady as she did her generation. Unless a woman is gratifying my visceral needs, I refuse to contract with them in any interactive way. You decide who gets to fly on your plane. And you get to decide where that plane goes, how far it goes, where it goes, when it goes, and who gets to go through the gate. Feminism is a cancer? Milo? Yeah, I like a lot of Milo's stuff. He lays it down, and he's part of the different thinking component of life. But he destroyed a womanist I remember watching on television. I think you can find it on YouTube. And he comes from a minority background, being diverse as he is. I agree this has to be the way. If a woman isn't making you a priority, then she's of no use to you. Let's talk about that. Making you a priority. How many women make their guys a priority? The concept of being useful beyond just existing is beyond most of them now. So you mean they just can't lay there and put on extensions? Well, the simp train has allowed that to be a reality. But you're right. Just existing does not, should not be the end all. Contributing is the key word here. Contributing, producing. What does she bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Why are people on Twitter mad at Alec Baldwin if it was an accident? Well, Alec Baldwin is an interesting guy because he's anti-trigger, and he actually pulled it. So I think there's people that are, he's very vocal about his political stances on lots of things. So I think karma just came home to roost. Hey, Rad, personal development question regarding patience. How to be patient with people, stupid people, reactive feminists, people who want to argue. Best thing you can do is walk away. If they say anything, just say, hey, I respect your opinion. You can't fix stupid, and liberalism is a mental disorder. It's as simple as that. Melvin Jacobs. I'm new to this site. Well, good to have you. Where are you from? You're always welcome here. How do you feel about escorts? If that's what you need to do to be happy and have peace in your life, so be it. Apparently, Baldwin's co-producer put the young female in charge of armory. That's what I read. And I think he has what? He's got responsibilities for his set and his crew members. Did you guys see that short by MN67 where the ex was forced to pay $2,500 a month? I did. She exploded in court. Double standards. I've talked to stuntmen. They say you don't shoot a blank right at a person. You aim to miss by 6 inches. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. The thing's fishy. And it's probably an accident, but who knows? Let any one person take you to a place of anger. Never they are after your energy. Yeah, Melvin, who asked that question? Sonny, you just have to make sure you're always calm. Here's a trick I learned. So if you're like in a heated discussion and it's hard to get out, you want to say internally calm, C-A-L-M, or see it on, and close your eyes and see it, the word calm. Supposedly it does good. I lost my best friend after I talked about the importance of looks and height. Never talk about Fight Club with your friends. Most people don't want to see you do better than them. Yeah, I lost a good friend of mine after 35 years. That was awesome, Brother Cowboy. Yeah, that Iman show is great. We're going Incubus on the Succubi Counter-Strike. There you go. Chicago. Big Cowboys from Chicago. You guys got to hook up. Didn't he play Trump on SNL? Yes. Rad, the video of that heifer I sent you, I come to the table. She was north of 500 pounds. I've got to put that video in my next short. You dang right. She was not. She was a two-tone Tessie. Lots to love. She's not your turn. It's just your turn. But my grandpa been married over 60 years. That was a different world back then, my friend. It was a prop gun. Yeah, I thought it was like it had a loaded caliber. Do you feel you would have been better off using? Sure. Yeah, guys, I don't want anyone to go through divorce court. What it does to you emotionally, mentally, you got to be strong. Financially, I was fine, but no, you don't. I don't know. I think that would have probably been a better way to go for me. Welcome to all of our new viewers. Escorts are not going to fulfill man. This is my opinion. Maybe if you have almost unlimited income, then perhaps. That might be the case for a lot of guys. When I saw the unloyalty in high school, especially women, my mind automatically programmed me to avoid relationships with females. It's much different today, and not on the good end. Can I please get advice for a friend? He impregnated a light-skinned Instagram model, and now he's stuck with her. But the crazy thing is, the girl was sleeping with another dude at the same time. Is it really his kid? That's what I'd probably find out. And tell him not to marry her. Whatever he does, no marriage, and get a paternity test. She never told him she was pregnant. Well, he has a 50-50 chance that it's either his or the other's. And if it's his, tell him not to get married and to somehow get a good lawyer. Get a good lawyer. You guys have been great. Rebel against defeat. Chase excellence. Masculinity, men first.